Hi, welcome back for the final project in my noteworthy series. This is Sharina with SharinaShack Scraps. This month is September and I have I call it the School Binder mini album. And I created this a number of years ago as well and put my kids' preschool pictures in them. But it is a very versatile album, would work really well I think for like a vacation planner even, as we are all returning from our vacations and heading back to school. So let me just show you a couple of examples and look at the stuff you can stick in here. You can keep this super skinny and little, or you can pack it full. I'm going to show you a couple examples. This one here is just for preschool. Inside you have file folders, or we will make them. And that is my little daughter, who is now 9, and all of her little preschool friends, as we did a Joy School preschool. Alright, and I believe there are, let's see, 7 folders in this mini album. There is not a lot of bulk. It's pretty flat, but it's a fun treasure. This one, I had 5 children and I only logged 1 of the pregnancies. They were all pretty much the same. So in this one, I have 9 folders, so I have 1 for every month of my pregnancy. Good heavens, and I obviously sewed a lot of these pages. I can't hold this one, I'm going to have to put it down. And inside the folders, I've actually made a pocket out of it with tags that I've written information on what I thought about the months of my pregnancy here. This was made from a Karen Foster paper. You kind of get the idea. It was really fun to log in what I was interested in, when my ultrasounds were, what I was feeling, what I was thinking. But I think this would be a really super cute logbook for the vacations you all just got back from. So let's get started, and I will show you how to make these cool little minis. You only need to really know 2 big main measurements to make this mini album, which is pretty cool. Okay, the first one is your main binding part here. It measures 6 inches by 12 inches. So a half sheet of a 12 by 12 piece of paper, 6 inches by 12 inches. And lay it across your scoreboard. Let me just make sure I'm in frame here. Okay, good. Alright, I need you to score this at 3 inches, 3 1/4 inch, 3 1/2 inch, and 3 3/4 inches, which makes this rounded binding that you see here. Alright. And then we're going to score again on this side at 8 inches, 8 1/4 inches, 8 1/2 inch, and then at 8 3/4 inches one more time. And then, of course, score or fold inward on all of those score lines so that we get that rounded binding look. Okay. Now, I have punched a couple of holes here, which might be, it's easier to see. Which way is easier to see, guys? I'm going to do it on this because I think it's going to be easier for you guys to see with the contrast and colors. Okay, there are 4 score lines here. I'm going to measure from this last score line on the right side of the first set of score lines. Does that make any sense? Alright, I'm going to turn my paper this way because it's easier to see. And then I've used my ruler and I measured about a 1/4 inch away from that last score line there and 1 inch in on both sides, and then punched a hole with my crocodile. Okay. Also punch a hole about 3/8 to 1/2 inch away from the edge right here. I'll show you the whole thing on this side, and right in the center, which is at 3 inches. So between 3/8 and 1/2 inch, and then 3 inches there in the center. This is where the button will go to hold it together. This is how your pages are going to be held into your binding project. Alright, set that aside and it is ready to go. And then these are the inside pages, and like I said, you can make as many of these as you want to make. They measure 6 inches by 8 inches, and of course, easy peasy, let's score them 4 inches down the middle. Again, the measurement, I like to do this and fold them, is a 1/4 inch away from this folded edge and 1 inch in on both sides. And you can just mark one and then stack as many as you can together and chomp them all at the same time with your crocodile. I've just got 4 here. Not sure how many I'm going to put in here, so I'll just start with 4. But now we have all those punched. You can add a tab punch to the side, which I did here with all of these. See how there is a fun little tab on each of these using, there's a couple different tab punches out there. All right. Very good. Now we can assemble our album. All right. You are going to need, let's see, how much did I cut here? In this album, I used, I don't know what it's called, but I got it from Seven Gypsies a while ago. I don't know if they still make them. But there's an elastic cord attached to it that has this thing. I don't know what it's called. And I feed those through my pages, and then when it opens, it locks, so it holds them together. But it, whoops. But it also is what closes my album. All right. So what I've done here, because that's not always available, is you can just get this stretchy cord at your local craft store, and I have tied it to a button. It'll give it a cute decorative look too. All right, and what you do is you feed it through your pages first, and then you're going to feed it through your album. Just like this. All right. Then, well, let's see, I'm going to do it this way so you don't get confused. Feed it through the bottom hole of the album, and then through the rest of the pages of your mini album, which I can never do quickly on camera for some reason. I don't know if I'm too shaky or what the deal is. All right. And kind of measure, because this is the back, how much you need to go around your button. That will go right there. Because you want a little bit of tension, but you don't want too much that it's going to break through. So the size can kind of vary a little bit. And then what you do is thread your other button on. Maybe. There we go. I got to stop recording videos that require threading, because it takes me forever. No, I like to do them. All right. And then what we're going to do is tie that in a knot so that it doesn't come undone again, and that will work for your binding unless you can find this other binding that I've got in here. All right, so it'll lock on like that. I'm going to guesstimate a size for you here. Let's see, 5. I'd start off with a 10-inch piece, probably a 12-inch piece, so you have enough to tie them on, and then just kind of estimate from there. All right, let's put the button on here. And the hole right here is, you need one of these kinds of buttons that have some type of loop hole in the back. And this is also, I've seen this on YouTube elsewhere, a few different places. But you push that through the back, and then you attach a paper clip. Let's see if I can do this up closer. Through the back of that so it won't come undone. And then you can always, I like to pull this out again so it is flatter, and then you can always cover that up with a cute sticker or decorative paper or something. So your album is assembled and it wraps around onto that cute button. Looks like I need to tighten that. So it'd probably be better to put the button on and then figure out your binding, but that is how the album is bound. And it can hold, it can expand quite substantially, as you can see here. And you can decorate your pages any way you'd like. Add tab punches to them. But I love, this is a completely different binding that you normally see. Excuse me, swallowing my tongue. So, thank you for joining me for this year's Noteworthy series. I'm recording this video actually a couple months in advance, and I'm hoping to come up with some projects for a new series. So stay coming back and look for a new series coming up for the next year. Thanks for joining me, and visit my website at SharinaShack.com for more ideas and patterns for digital and traditional scrapbooking, as well as my blog to see what's coming up next at SharinaShackScraps.blogspot.com. Thanks, bye!